Today I will be discussing few points which are very important for you to know about the US immigration check. While this may seem daunting, but knowing all these information will keep you prepared for what's coming. So let's get started. The immigration check is actually a small interview that is conducted at the airport before you are given permission to enter to the USA. During this interview, you will share information regarding the purpose of your visit, where you are going to stay, your nature of work, and many other questions that you might be asked at the airport. I will get to all these things one by one in this video. Everybody who is traveling to the USA and is a foreigner has to go through this process. That includes workers, students, and tourists coming to the USA. Let's now discuss in details about port of entry and secondary check. The immigration mostly takes place at your port of entry. Now, port of entry means the first airport that you come in contact in the USA. For example, you are first landing in the last airport and then you are going to Florida. Then your first entry to the USA will be at the last airport and your immigration will be done there. However, there are 6 other countries which also conduct this immigration process for USA, which is outside USA. That means if you are traveling from these countries, you could be cleared immigration before you even enter USA. Depending upon the crowd at the airport, that could be in USA or the other 6 countries I talked to you about, the time could vary depending upon that, but the level of scrutiny is almost the same in all the countries. According to my experience, I don't find any difference in the level of scrutiny at different points of contact or port of entry. Have you heard about secondary check? This is when you are pulled out of the immigration line or the immigration officer send you for a secondary check. So, this could be for different reasons. That does not mean they are deporting you to your country. That does not mean they will not let you enter the USA. But that could be a signal that they don't want to take much time over here because there is a big line behind. But there is something more they want to know about your travel. That is why they are separating you from that line. And they are sending you to the secondary check where there will be another officer who will be scrutinizing all your documents, all your luggage and everything. So be ready for that in case your clearance or your immigration will be done in other country rather than USA, or after this immigration check you have another flight to catch. It is always recommended to get your connecting flight 3 to 5 hours in difference, because this might take up a lot of time, like 2 to 3 hours, and you might end up missing your next flight. I had this experience where I was pulled out of the line from the immigration and I was sent for a secondary check. This was not for USA but for Singapore when I was traveling there for the first time. Many people were pulled into a separate room where we had to wait for our chance to go to the other officers, immigration officers, and present our documents, and they were asking us questions. I was traveling with a 2-year-old, so I think the reason they pulled me out was because they wanted to know more about my visit and more about my husband's documentation about his work and everything. But just because I had a little child with me, they didn't want to spend much time me standing there because she was already irritated early in the morning. I found many people in that room and I was taken aback because I was not sure, I was not informed that what could be next. Next time they asked me in details where I am going to stay, what my husband does over there, like what is his occupation, and if I could show them all the documents of my husband's occupation. So I had every paper intact with me. I showed them everything and answered all their questions just in 1 or 2 words. Like if they ask me about where I'm going to stay, I told them about a rented property that we have recently taken and told the address because I did not remember. I have written it in a diary. So that was really helpful for me to hand it over them or to just read out that this is the address. It is not required that you remember the inline address of a place that you are going to stay, because that is a new place for you, right? So all these things you should keep in mind, that you could be pulled out and this can take time. This could be daunting, but being informed about this is not the end. This is not something which will send you back to your country. This is just something that they want to validate before they let you in the country. It is also important to know that you can choose your port of entry regardless of your destination. So how to be prepared for your immigration check? You have to keep all your documents handy in an arranged manner. It helps a lot when you have section file with you. I will put a link of these essential items that you must have when you are flying to the USA or to any other country for say. And these section files has options to name them. When you name them, and you can see that from above, it becomes very easy for you to pull out the documents which are required rather than shuffling one by one and doing a mess over there. I can just say that. So yeah, so those section files are really important to keep everything in its place and to find out the exact document you are looking for. So keeping all the documents like your work permit or your admission letter for any college that you're coming here for, or whatever documents you have along with yourself, along with your passport and everything, it should be kept in a proper way so that you can pull out anything and everything whenever asked by the immigration officer. By the way, if you're watching me for the first time, hi, my name is Shubha and you're watching Peppy Sage. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, it's my request, please subscribe to my channel because that helps me grow on YouTube. Other than the documents you are carrying, you must be prepared to answer few basic questions that the immigration officer will definitely ask you. That might be related to your family, your purpose of visit, your work, your friends, and the luggage you are carrying. If you want more tips about how to answer the immigration question during your immigration at the USA, I have chalked out another video which covers 20 tips to navigate immigration and customs question like a pro. Don't forget to watch that video after this one. It's also necessary to be honest and concise with your answers. There are many places where I have read or I have seen videos on which says that you have to be elaborate. But in my opinion, your answer could be just precise, just to, satisfy the need of the question. Because the immigration officers are they are scanning through all these people throughout the day at the airport, so they can catch false things very easily, and they might also have very less time to see all your documents and ask you questions and get your answers. So being precise helps you as well as help the immigration officer. It's also necessary to carry important documents such as your prescription for the medication you're carrying in. You might or might not be allowed to carry all the medications along with you to the USA. In that case, having your doctor's prescription is really essential. If you want to know more about packing medicines for your luggage, I have a dedicated video for that. I will link that in the description box. If you have purchased any new item and you are bringing that along with you to the USA, you must have the receipt of that item along with yourself handy with your documents. Also avoid carrying large volume of cash and valuables along with you. I also have a dedicated video of what is the limit of cash and gold and other valuables when you are coming to the USA. I will also put that link in the description below, so make sure to watch it. And by the time, if you find this video helpful and valuable, give this video a thumbs up. If you have any question regarding this, then let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to help you. Now, in case if you are selected for the secondary check, it is always recommended that you must declare everything at the first hand. There should not be anything lying along with you which you would declare at the secondary check and not at the primary check. Then that becomes a question for the immigration officer. For example, there are many restricted items that you cannot bring along with you. I was asked at the airport in USA that are you carrying any agricultural product? I had studied before and I knew that agricultural products are not allowed into the USA. So in case I had it with me and I said no, I don't, and I was sent to the secondary check, and those officers at the secondary checkpoint found out that I was carrying agricultural product, that would raise a red flag. So make sure whatever you had to declare, you are declaring at the first point and you are not waiting for the secondary check to happen. If you are in case selected for the secondary check, be ready for answering in detail questions. For example, about your work, your occupation, your plan for visit, your itinerary if you are a tourist, and such detailed things like that. They might ask you about where you are going to stay, how much cash or valuables you have with yourself, what is your work permit over here. They will ask you about your responsibilities at work or which kind of college you are going. They might also ask you about your rented property or the dorm room in case you are a student. So these type of detailed questions could be asked to you during the secondary immigration check. It is also essential that your luggage is not carrying any kind of prohibited items. It is very important for you to know what is prohibited and what what is not when you are coming to the USA. So pack accordingly, and I think my channel will be really helpful for you to understand what's allowed and what's not when you are coming to the USA. I've created several videos on this. I will put all the links in the description box below so that it becomes easier for you to pack while you're coming to the USA. Important considerations are that you should be mindful of what you have in your mobile phone as well. During the secondary check, they might ask for your mobile phone and check all the messages, emails, and every other details that you have at your mobile. If you are asked to hand over your mobile to the immigration officer, you cannot say no. So make sure you don't have any unethical chats or any unethical emails in your mobile phone. Avoid any kind of illegal activity, and immigration check could let you enter to the USA, and it could also stop you from entering the USA. So be very honest to the officers, because they know in and out of all the travelers that are coming into the USA every day in thousands. So yes, you have to be really honest to them, be precise with your answers, be truthful, and declare if you have something that needs declaration at the airport, and give proper explanation for that. If you want to know more information about this topic, watch this next video on the screen.